Hi, Shruti. Congratulations once again on all your admits.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, please share your work profile and the results that you secured with us.
Sure. So I have around 7.5 years of work experience and all in IT. I work in the product division of IT service company. And currently I'm playing the role of lead product manager, but I played developer and business analyst before in my career. And I secured a GMAT of 710. And the results of my B school applications I've got through IIMA, BC and ISB. That's where I stand.
Coming from your IT background, what were the criteria that were important for you, or would you consider when selecting the MBA programs?
For me, it was about the placement opportunities, number one, because I wanted to shift to a more strategic and I want to get into the business operations side. That is why I wanted to choose a B school that gave me the diverse opportunities in terms of placement, number one. Number two, I was also keen in the cohort experience and what is that I could get back from the cohort. So I wanted to be in a cohort where there are people with similar level of experience so that I can learn the best out of their industry knowledge.
And you are also do share where you are headed to from all of these choices.
I'm choosing IIM Bangalore out of all of these, mainly because of the second reason I said cohort level of experience. And also I have a small kid and family. So for logistics and travel reasons, Bangalore makes it much more convenient for me.
Absolutely, it's a good choice. Shruti, with all your work responsibilities and having a small kid also, there's quite a lot of work. How did you approach preparation for the GMAT? What was the time that you devoted to it, and what strategies worked for you?
Yeah, I took it in my own pace. I didn't want to pressurize myself. My GMAT preparation span across like 1.5 years, but I stopped at multiple points when my personal priorities came in. So I kept myself flexible in that timeline because I don't want to lose out on the personal priorities. I used to do like 2-3 months, then I stopped, then I do. It was not a very structured approach, but I know what my priorities were on the personal side, so I didn't want to restrict myself in a particular timeline. The last gig that I prepared for, it was around 4 months. So that was a complete stretch, but it was not like just that 4 months. In that course of 4 months, I gave 1 online and 2 in test center. I wasn't aware that the onlines weren't accepted in some of the schools, so I had to do a test center again. My first test center attempt, I was very nervous. In my first online, I got 700. Then I gave a test center in which I was very nervous and it dropped to 650. Then within a couple of weeks, I gave a test center exam again, and then I got 710.
Yes. Each of these schools that you have applied for has a very distinct application process. So how did you decide as to the storytelling part for the application, how to build a personal brand for this?
Honestly, in that part, I had no clue about because I didn't aim to apply in this academic year only. I was thinking I'll just finish GMAT just this year. Maybe the next year I'll apply and so on. But it just happened that my GMAT was on August 3rd. And IIMB round 1 application closed on August 7th. I hardly had like 4 days. I had no clue about what SOP should look like, what all should I prepare for. So it was all your guidance and the questionnaires that you gave, your reviews and so on. But otherwise, there wasn't any prep from my end that I had to do. It was very, very, very short, like 4 days time. We had to pull out a lot of things. So I didn't have any clue about that except the guidance that I got from you.
Absolutely. And what about the interview experience? Again, each of these A, B, C, and ISB, they have very different interview formats. So what was the preparation like and what was the interview experience like?
I got to know the difference through the videos that you had shared, like what IMC would be interested to know about, how different would it be from ISB, say, which college will have alum in the panel, which college will it have only professors. So I got to know the nuances about the differences in the interview process through the videos that you had shared. And the mock interviews that we have had and the prep that we did before for the interview, like guesstimates and on the spot giving a topic like extempore types. So all of those kind of prepare for that interviews. I also had a lot of offline interviews with my colleagues and my husband. So there were multiple marks that when I was driving back home from home to the interviews, my husband used to keep asking me some questions. So multiple levels of mark. Eventually, my Bangalore one was very difficult because I felt it was very confronting. I was not led to finish. So I was very confident that I'm not going to get through Bangalore. But that helped me prepare more for the upcoming interviews. For example, the Calcutta interview, all the questions they asked me, it was all something that I attended in the mock. I have attended so many mock questions that I was so prepared what to answer for what. And the current affairs was also a key part. I was not catching up on the current affairs until my GMAT prep. But within that August and September timeline, there was a lot of the materials that you shared and then online videos. So there's active current affairs preparation, which also helped in other colleges' interview process.
And let's say, there are people who are starting off with this MBA application process now and getting down to writing their GMATs very soon. So what would be your advice for the future MBA applicants?
So first thing I would say is work backwards. Those are mistakes that I learned from. I didn't know that you need a test center mark to apply for certain colleges. If I had known, I would have got like 1 month time to prepare for the interviews, or I might have had some settling time as well. Like work backwards. What are the colleges that you're applying for? What are their requirements? And what are the dates? So that there is no rush. I was fortunate that it all went smoothly, but it was a lot of panic. Within 4 days, I had to get the recommendation letter. I have to inform my managers. They were also kind enough to do all that in a couple of days' time. But otherwise, if you're not working backwards, it's generally difficult. And GMAT, I think it's all about mindset. Even if you're like very, very well prepared, what we are doing on the spot matters a lot. Like for me, the second attempt dropped from 700 to 650 because I was very tense in the test center environment because we were so used to working at home. And one other tip that helped me from some of the people who have done GMAT before was the bio clock. Doing the test at the same time every day almost kind of prepares your body to be ready and focus on that particular time slot. And also mimicking the test center setup at home so that we don't get nervous at that point. So these are things that I learned very late. If people could learn this early, it'll be helpful.
But it all worked well in hindsight.
Yes, it did. It all fell into
place. Right. So do share your feedback.
I've not worked with others before, but what I really liked in this engagement is that one-to-one context. So you knew the background I had, right? There is a customized process and you have the context on your head as in, okay, what her strengths are, what her weaknesses are. And bringing that structure, not without the intervention of the candidate. Like it was not a draft given to me. I have to give my version and then there was refining. So that makes the process very collaborative and very customized. So even if we apply it, you apply with whole heart saying, okay, this is not something that I just bought from someone. It's something that someone is guiding me to do it. So there's a difference in that, right? That was very helpful because what I heard from others is they have like a standard template that they share with all the candidates in many other admission consulting, which didn't happen for me here. And for me, I don't think there was like a fixed number of marks. If I didn't do well in some of those, we had extended the number of marks so those were very empathetic and not very like rigid in terms of rules. Okay, you only have so many marks and so on, and very customized planning and approach in terms of after finishing the mock, there was clear feedback in terms of what are your areas of improvement so that we make sure the next mock addresses those things. And some of the mock interviews, that videos that you had shared, that also helped, like how a different person would approach the same question. And so on. That we sit for is generally a little difficult because we are not used to that, and if we feel it's confronting, the upcoming ones we get used to that confronting. That's the only change. I don't think there's anything constructive that I could share on. It all went well.